Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. The new musical, The Notebook, which is based on the best-selling novel that inspired the iconic film, is coming to Broadway. It begins performances on February 10th at the Show and Tell Theater, and we drop by the rehearsal room to meet the company.
I saw the movie when I was young with my best friend, and we watched it, and we wept and wept and wept, and I never got that story out of my head. So 20 years later, Kevin McCollum, the producer, one of the producers, points at me and says, "The Notebook, the Notebook." And I said, "Excuse me." I went to the bathroom and I cried because I was so overwhelmed. I am a romantic at heart. I have suffered through a lot of loss in my life. So the story is just, it feels so personal to me that I feel like I was perfectly chiseled out of flesh to create this piece. Like, it feels like I'm never going to make anything like this ever again. And maybe everybody thinks that, but I just feel so tied and braided into the story. And now especially into the piece that we've made. I'm having like pre-postpartum sadness. That's what my therapist calls it anyway. She's like, you're like mourning something that hasn't ended yet. I'm like, I know, but this is the last week of rehearsal. It was an instant yes for me, and it's been an instant yes over and over and over and over again the past 7 years as we've worked on it.
So by the time I was approached about it, Ingrid had written a few songs, and from the first note of the first song I listened to was an immediate yes. The music is so beautiful and comes straight from her heart, and it's that when I go see a musical, I want to leave with the songs ingrained in my body, and every song Ingrid has written is that kind of song. Yeah. It's so truthful to the moment. It stays in your brain. It stays in your heart. So I was like, absolutely. And also, I feel like the story sings. 1,000,000% the story sings. It felt like a no-brainer. And I've got a lot of Alzheimer's in my family. I've got the genetic kind running through my grandfather's lineage. And it feels really important to, shine a light and bring this issue to the stage, because it's so universal. It affects so many families.
Audiences already fell in love with this out of town. What was it like for you at that first stop, watching how effective this material was to the audience member?
Oh, it was very satisfying. I mean, we certainly felt it in the room. Yeah. And it was incredible to have that communal feeling, and to know, wow, we really are onto something. People are feeling what we're feeling. They're teaching us about this piece in new ways. There are touchstones. There's generational touchstones, right? We see them in 3 different periods of time, and the multi-generational audiences that we have recognize our Noahs and Alleys at different periods of time in their life. And at the end of the play, there is this communal sense of, I think, hope, and sometimes a little bit of sadness, but mostly hope and belief that this kind of love could exist.
It was a great confirmation to be able to share with the audience and have the audience respond as we hoped they would, and then go so much further. And then give us a whole lot of courage to go further ourselves, to push things, to challenge things, and to trust that an audience can sit with some difficult things as well as some very uplifting things.
You've all done special projects, but what's made this one so special for you?
I think the collaboration, first of all, feeling so held by this group of people and feeling trusted to do what sometimes I feel like I need to prove to myself that I can do. Having the best partner and the best co-creators, the other people that are playing the same role as me, getting to learn from them, getting to add to them. I think the fulfillment is the best part. about the show.
Yeah, it's been such an honest and open and beautiful room in terms of creating something that is really emotionally weighty. I mean, it's not always the easiest time to do a show where folks are crying and you're crying, and it can take a toll. And so I think just the support of the folks around us, whether it be behind the table with the creative team or people in the show that we're sharing it with, I think has really buoyed it for me.
And to watch the other generations of yourselves in rehearsal, what that's like for you.
It is a gift. I could tear up right now. Getting, this piece is not just a musical, right? For me, it's been a classroom. It's been the birth of many friendships and a master class, especially from my older selves, that I get to just, look to them and say, okay, where are you going? So you have to get from here to there and fill in the in-between, and then we'll have a conversation about how you got there so that I can piece it together. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I think the show sees the couples in their most vulnerable states of life, and so you really have to develop a lot of trust, and so it's a really, really comfortable room to be in at this point, especially with the amount of time that we've been able to spend with each other from Chicago to now. And so it's really lovely to come into work, feel so comfortable to make these really bold choices and just sort of bare your soul in these moments that really call for it. And it just feels very appropriately vulnerable, I think is the phrase that I would use for the room. Yeah.
There's a simplicity of the story that is universal, that people, we all have experienced at least one aspect of this. And if you're lucky, you get to experience all the aspects of it, no matter how hard they are. It's the richness, the fullness of living. Yeah. The payment. You have to pay rent. You don't get out rent-free.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
It's been very, very exciting, and just the way it's staged, with the memories that come out of Marianne's character, Ali's character, fleeting memories, and the way it's just floatingly choreographed and written. It's just the uniqueness of theater. You'd never be able to do it in film or television. So that's what makes it so special. Because you then can, just as in a book, usually it's hard for a person to read a book and then see the movie because the imagination is hard to match any unique person's imagination. Yeah. This is the same thing for theater. The way it's staged, it can't be done any other way, and it allows each person to digest it and experience it in their own unique way. Yeah. So that's what makes it very special and exciting.